we are talking today about the dashboards. Dashboards is an extremely powerful feature that we are presenting that allows you to aggregate the data from multiple devices and also allows you to control multiple devices from a single place. You can create different dashboards with different layouts, with different scopes, and you can do a lot of things here. So I prepared a couple of examples to showcase how it may work for you on a particular example. So first one, let's look at the setup, right? So I'm representing today an organization called Dashboards Demo, and we have sub-organizations as well. We have Canada branch and a bunch of other clients and offices that we are working with. We have a set of 6 products at least. We have air conditioners, different types of heaters, and we have lighting. It's just like virtual devices today. We are not using actual data, so the data is synthesized basically, but it gives a good understanding of what we can do here today. So in terms of devices, we have 78 devices. There are all different types. As you know, you can drill down to any particular device. They're kind of live and generating data points. And we will try to kind of work with them at scale. So imagine that you are a manufacturer of the devices, or you're managing a certain number of devices where you can no longer just go to devices one by one and check the data there or control them all from a single place. So here's where the dashboards basically shine. So for the dashboards, I prepared different types of dashboards today. So this first example is something that we call Office. So Office is kind of the set of cherry-picked devices that are placed in a certain organization, and they're of a certain type. So from here, I can turn on all the lights. For example, if I come here and I will turn on all the lights. I will go to devices, and if I find the lights, I don't remember which one exactly. So they will be all turned off no matter which way you go. So basically from a single place, you can control pretty large numbers of devices. I don't remember the exact limits right now. There are certain limits, but yeah, so this is how it works. And if I turn it on, obviously it will turn off. Of course, it will be applied only to the devices online, because we can't guarantee the delivery. But if you use the synchronization feature of Blynk, the sync all API, then you will, once your device gets online, it can grab the latest value from the dashboard and basically apply this value. So there are a couple of, we call it like a platform metrics widgets. So you can show like how many devices are online, for example, and there are other ones that I will be showing you. There are different ways to aggregate the data. So here we can average the temperature from all the rooms, from all the devices, from the office, obviously, and we support different aggregations, averaging, minimum, maximum. I don't remember if counting is there, but there are more than. And you can also bring like particular values from particular devices, and I will be showing you how to set it up basically. We obviously can aggregate the data in a historical way, so you will be able to see the time series data on the dashboards as well. Like here, we are averaging the temperature from all the devices, and we are plotting them on a chart. We can also break down it by device if needed. For example, this is a temperature by rooms, but there are other use cases like water level by tank in different locations, right? So you can obviously see what's kind of as low on material or high in material. It really depends. And yeah, so basically you can control a certain set of devices within the dashboard. All of that is controlled by something that we call a scope of the dashboard. And I will quickly show you so that you have a better understanding. So if I go to the editing dashboards, there are a lot of stuff that we'll be going through today, but the most important or high level, not important, is the data source, who access the data. So in the data source, first of all, you can narrow down like what type of what templates should be considered as the scope. For example, if you don't want the heaters to be included, you can exclude them here, and yeah, and only heaters will be fine. Here you will see the preview of the devices that will go into the count, and also like a sample data from the devices that will go into the scope. And once you do this, you can also choose what organization should you include. Right now, you can include all organizations. If there's a structure underneath you, then all the devices of these templates that you selected will be considered as a scope for this dashboard, and you will see the data from all the devices. If it's only current, then we will ignore all the sub-organizations, and only current organization will be taken. Sometimes you need to monitor sub-organization devices, but exclude your organization. In this case, you will go with the only sub-organizations options. Once you set it up, basically it's working. So I think that we covered this. Yeah, the only thing I missed, I think it's the latest events. So now we bring the list of events, which is an aggregated as well. So every device that's in the office that sends events, they will show up here, and it's constantly being updated. It's not real time, but it's very close to real time. So you will, if you're monitoring certain events and you put this dashboard on a big screen in the control room, then you will be immediately informed about what's happening. And again, if you click on the event, you will open the device, and you will also see the timeline of the device with all this notification, sorry, alerts that were recorded here. And of course, you can go back. So this is an example of like a mixing of aggregated data and individual data. Then let's look at something different. Let's say you are a manufacturer and you are building different models of devices. You want to monitor or analyze performance across different models. So in this case, we are not targeting specific organization or specific device. We are looking at let's check the scope. We are looking at all the heater products. So let's say you have a product line of heaters and you would like to monitor them at scale. So this is what you do. Obviously, this will be all organizations because you want to oversee to get the data from all of the devices. So I will cancel because it's already set up. So here. Yeah, so again, we are aggregating different data on the performance of the equipment, like how much power they consume, how much power they consume historically versus the temperature set point. So you're very flexible in setting this data, and we'll be talking about the setup later on. What's interesting that you can create within the widget, you can create another filtering where you can, for example, break them down by the model. If you need to turn off all the model A, while it's not clearly defined by the scope, because all the heaters are getting into the scope, inside of the widget, you can, let's go straight away there. Inside of the widget, you can create, so first of all, we set up the virtual pin to control mass, add mass in for all the devices on-off values. And here, I've already pre-used the template, and the template name contains the heater model A. And you can see the preview here of the devices that will go into the segment and will be controlled by this widget. So you can quickly see what's here. And by the way, you can choose individual devices if needed. So you're extremely flexible on that front. If you want to change it, you can either like change the segment, cherry pick devices, choose all. So all these tools are under your fingerprints, basically. Fingertip. So yeah, this is how it's set up. And yeah, so this is a different example. Another thing that you can do with or you can monitor and create new reports is a device fleet. So this is something that we're still working on, and there's a bunch of metrics that you can look at. But today, what's available is that you can look at the fleet performance of the devices, which is very specific to the Internet of Things. Like when we are talking about thousands of devices, we obviously need to monitor how many active devices are there, how many total devices are there, how many activations of devices are there. So this is a synthetic data because that's why we don't have activations here. But yeah, and you can see the devices by how the representation of breakdown by the product happens, all of that. And we are working on adding more metrics. By the way, throughout the call, think about what is kind of missing for your particular either business case or whatever project you're working on. And obviously, we are working on more visualizations, currently more widgets, let's put it this way. Like the next one, just to give you a heads up, will be geospatial data. So we'll be working with maps and a little bit more with tables. So these are two things that we are already kind of almost starting to work on. So yeah, let us know what you think would work or what's really needed for your use case, your application, your business. That's super helpful always. Okay, next thing is events. So we added a bunch of widgets that can visualize the data regarding the events. Events is an extremely popular feature in Blynk, and a lot of customers were always requesting like, hey, we need to kind of analyze how events are performing. So if you are overseeing a fleet of, I don't know, anything above 20 to 40 devices, this feature will become very handy as long as you correctly or usefully using the event functionality on Blynk. So here we provided a set of predefined metrics that kind of work out of the box. You don't need to configure them. So you can set the like all events breakdown, the count, basically how many of them happened within a day or within a month or a year and so on. So obviously you can bring in the latest events as well. And you can see the number of events by organization. For example, if there are certain errors happening on the device and it's recorded by the device, then you will, by visiting this dashboard or creating this dashboard for you, you will immediately see like what are the problems there. Maybe there are some issues with an organization, or even with a particular device. So let's say like the battery is low and there's a spike in there. You can obviously see them there. I don't remember if you can open the device. Let me check. Yeah, you can open the device and see the details of that if it's needed. So yeah, there are some drill downs into the devices as well. So all of that is like working out of the box. So you can just add these widgets and here you go. One important thing that I wanted to mention is that usually like other IoT platforms we see, they are building like they're considering a dashboard as a project, like per project. So let's say like in this case, I have an office, I've configured something for myself or for the employees, for my employees and colleagues, and then we work from there. And everyone has access to that, and that's it. However, in Blynk, we are always thinking about the kind of application level, right? So how it can be used not only by you, but your clients as well. And the heaters or maybe events is a good example of that. Let's say you would like to share the information of the events with all of your clients, or maybe it's just like a different dashboard that you built, but it's a core use case of your IoT application, let's say the better level across all the devices. And you want your customers also have this high level view on their fleet. So let's say you sold 100 devices to a customer and they connected them, all of them activated. And now typically in other IoT platforms, we see that they would need to create their own dashboards and kind of connect these devices, set it up, and then it will work for them. In Blynk, it works differently, or it's possible to work differently. So you see this small icons here. It means that this dashboard is shared down the tree of the sub-organizations. But of course, organizations will only see the data that's relevant to them. So we will never show like all the devices that don't belong to them. It's filtered down to this organization. So let's look at the setup, how it's done. If you go to the dashboard, obviously let's check this data source. Currently all the devices are included in the scope because I'm the administrator. I'm creating this dashboard kind of for the first time, right? And I can use all. What it means that for me as administrator, when I say all, I will see devices from all the sub-organizations that are underneath myself and including mine. But when the customer gets to the same dashboard, for them, all means their organization and anything down the tree. I hope that it makes sense, but let me know if I need to go in details on that. And then you can also manage the access to the dashboard. So here, the first setting is the root organization users. So basically, this is your organization where you're creating this dashboard. For pro accounts, this is their like root pro organization. For enterprise clients, this is their root organization as well. So yeah, you can set up obviously who can access to this particular dashboard within your organization. But if you enable this functionality here, like administrators and staff can see this organization, right? Then um, it will be in every single sub-organizations under you, and their users will be able to see and operate with the devices. So let's check how it looks like. For example, we go to one of the sub-organizations, the US headquarters, for example. You can see that numbers have changed. So basically everything have changed. So now we are only looking at their devices. They can't edit it. I mean, unless you give them permissions to do that. But currently they can't edit it. They only see. So basically, if they start with 0 devices, this dashboard will be empty. Like there will be nothing. But as they start adding the devices, the data starts flowing in. We collect historical data, real-time data, all the controls, all of that will be working, but only with their devices. So you don't need to create this dashboard for every client. It will be automatically kind of visible to them. And what's one of the cool features that we added is that this home button, home page. So basically you can go to the dashboard settings, and this one is set as a home page, but I can choose a different one and set this is as a home page. So whenever you log in into Blynk console, they will start with this view. And again, since it's completely editable, then you can create what's really relevant in your particular case, in your particular applications. Yeah, so let's talk more about the filters. Let me go back to the dashboards demo. Let's choose a different one. Let's choose the heaters. I mean, it's obviously great to see the full kind of the full view of all the devices of all the heaters that we own. But what if I need to drill down to a particular device and I don't want to go to the dashboard to find this device? I can do it straight directly from there, and I have a couple of filtering options here. So first of all, I can right now, as we remember, I'm looking at all the heaters that we own. But what if I'm looking at a particular client? So I will choose a particular organization, for example, US headquarters. So now, like immediately as an administrator, I can drill down to a particular organization and see the data which is relevant for them. I can go back and I can filter it by the template, by device. If I'm not mistaken, we can also filter by tags. If you use tags, it's just that they're not used in this organization. But I can even find a particular device. I'm not sure that the data will be kind of relevant. Yeah, again, it shows. So yeah, even from this macro level view, I can still drill down to a particular device and see the data for this particular device, which is extremely helpful. I can, yeah, I can do whatever I pretty much can. Yeah. Okay, so I think this is a good overview of what you can build, but how do you actually build it, right? So let me go to a different screen, which is a bit less complex than this one. So I'll start by finding. I think I lost this dashboard somewhere. Just give me a second. In the meantime, feel free to post any questions. I would need like a minute or so. I somehow lost it. Okay, I think I'm ready. 1 second. Sharing. Let me know if you see the screen. So this is like a smaller thing that I'm mostly using for myself. I have a couple of prototyping devices here with me. One of them is a terminal Wio by Seed. Another one, some ESP32 device. So I'm mostly using it for testing, but it will give you a good overview of what you can do. So I'm basically created a dashboard for myself that first of all shows the devices online. It shows the temperature here from one of the devices, humidity from terminal, I think terminal VO. There are a couple of things that I'm using, and I'm monitoring their SSI because it's just easy to get data. So let's look how it was built. So I'll go to the editing dashboard. And these are the widgets that I mentioned. So from the widgets perspective, we have a bunch, but we plan to add way more than that. Obviously, you can turn things on and off. You can control the range. You can bring the label, which is either an aggregated view if you choose multiple devices, or it's a single data stream value from a single device. We can show metrics over time, metric by devices. Like in this case, we are showing the RSSI by two devices. There are two devices. You see that they are very close, but their SSI level is very different. And I also created this kind of channel chart for myself where I'm aggregating the RSSI data and I'm viewing it as a minimum, maximum, and average to give you kind of a perspective how it fluctuates. So yeah, these are different examples of how these widgets are done. We have the latest events widgets, obviously. You can place it here. We have all types of events widgets here. So the dashboard that I showed you before, these are something that we created as a demo, but you have the full freedom in creating the dashboard that kind of is relevant to you, and you can mix and match. Like you can bring events data together with the historical data, together with like device connection statuses and like device overview data as well. So all of that, it's at your fingertips. So let's look at let's start with simple things. The switch. If I go to, first of all, let's check the scope because it's always good to understand what are we working with. So we are working with two templates, the EV demo and the TH sensor terminal. And I'm working with all organizations because yeah, it's nobody except for me here. So let's go to the switch. This is the simplest one. So dashboards, sorry, the dashboard widgets are consisting of two major components. First is where do we have the data from? Second, which devices are included into the scope of this widget, which is a kind of a narrowed down version, or like it equals the scope as well. And we have the design options, which is something that you should be very familiar with. So here's how it works. So on the virtual pins, it's interesting that it brings us to the point where when we build new products or we build product lines, then we definitely recommend reusing the same virtual pin numbers for the similar data streams. For example, if you are building a bunch of products that are battery powered, put the battery percentage on a certain data stream, and then you will be able to track them across all of the products. You can create the dashboard that kind of shows all the data from a single pin, because we can't pick and choose like different data streams from different devices as of today, at least. So you need to choose a certain pin number. And you see, I did some good job already here. So I put the SSI on the same pin, battery on the same pin. States are also like, there are some other things which are important for me to have on the same pins, like a power switch. If you want to be able to turn off all of the templates, devices from all the templates with the one click, then plan power switch accordingly, put it onto one of the pins. And by the way, we plan to improve this experience later on, so that kind of during the template creation, we would recommend you to use certain pins for certain data stream types, but it's later. So yeah, currently we're looking at the switch. I want to kind of control these devices. It shows that yes, this switch will control all the devices unless I choose something else. You can flip the on and off value, obviously, because sometimes you need more flexibility on that. And yeah, and basically that's it. So once you added the switch, maybe you can maybe you can rename it, of course, and choose the color and show on-off label. I don't want to do it right now. Yeah, this is what you can do. So that's the number one. Now, the label. Label is a slightly different thing, and I have mostly one value labels here. So let's look at the temperature. So let's start from scratch. Let's better bring a new one, and I will show you how the temperature is created. So I will go to the settings, and now it's empty. We are first of all choosing the data stream. So I can quickly search for the data stream that I'm searching for. Yeah, this is the one that I would need. And since I can leave it as all, but if there's a kind of different data coming on V21, then the data might be corrupted, obviously, or like showing you something that's not relevant. So I would rather like stick to a single device selection, like the weather terminal here, because I know that this is the only device that reports it. I will choose the aggregation type. On the aggregation type, you can either choose the aggregation of the values, average, minimum, maximum, sum, or the latest value. So latest value will only work for a single device selection. I mean, I think it makes sense if obviously if we do, we can't show the two values from two devices, so we need to process them somehow. So you will not see this option here. But if it's a single device, I can choose the latest value. My temperature is in Celsius, so I can put it here. Yeah, and I don't need any decimals. And here's a kind of a quick tip for you. So yeah, okay, I wanted the stream is assigned to the widget and there are no conflicts. It's very important to understand this whole kind of thing, because if you have virtual pin 21 and it's an integer in one template and it's a string on a different template, then we obviously can't do any aggregations, and you will see an error here like, hey, there's a mismatch in the data, and we will just ignore the string data, so we'll be only working with numbers. So keep it in mind when building the dashboards. So yeah, now I ideally if I change the label, I believe, temperature. I can change color based on value. I can show level. Let's do level. I don't remember the min max, but let's say it will be up to 40 degrees and level color will be orange. Okay. So now I can apply changes, and yeah, this is the temperature currently where the device is or around the device, because by the way, it just fall onto the microcontroller and that's why it got heated up a little bit. Funny. Yeah, so this is a single device. So you can basically kind of, if you have, if you're working on a small project that you need particular data from a particular device, you can do it here. The next exercise that we can do is to aggregate the data. So for that, we will be using RSSI in the same way. So we'll go to the data, and now we will use the V1, which is similar to, you see that this is all is great, everything works. You can see the green check. Aggregation type will be average. It will be dBm. dBm, yeah, no decimals here. And again, I don't need to change anything because these are two devices that are reporting RSSI on the same pin, so all works for me. I will maybe create a label from this average RSSI. And here you go. Apply changes. And now we have average SSI basically here. So it's very, very easy to set up whether it's a particular device with particular data or if you need some aggregation. Go to the editing dashboards. I think that everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. I will go to the ready to use widget here, which is RSSI by device. So it works the same. We just choose the pin, choose the aggregation type, and now it will be breaking down or showing the RSSI signal from both devices that I have here. In the design, there's not much you can do, just rename it for now, but I think it serves the purpose anyway. Yeah, in the same manner, we work with events. Like all these widgets are working by organization is not interesting. Events by devices. I can go to You don't even need to set it up because we will just take all the devices, and later on we will be offering some filtering, but for now we can just do all the events. There has been, oh yeah, there have been some events to the last month. So yeah, this the date picker selection, by the way, can be set to a default. If you go to the edit dashboard, you can set it up like 1 week, 1 month by default. If you want it faster, go to 1 day. If you want it a little bit loading, then go for longer intervals. Yeah, so here's how it goes. I already explained the homepage and the sub-organizations page, but I can recap on that. Basically, if I go at any point, I can go to the device managing access and define whether this dashboard is just for this particular organization I'm working in, or I would like to share it with the organizations underneath. Yep, that's I think that's it from the dashboards and points, unless I missed something. So maybe my Blynk team maybe can remind me of something, but I think that's pretty covered.